Hello, Internet. How are we this evening? Happy Easter weekend. It is not transgender day of visibility or whatever the Biden regime decided to try and change it to. You know that's a troll, right, guys? You know they are trolling us and trying to make us mad. We'll get into it. It did make me mad. It probably made you guys mad too, but that's their whole point. They're trying to piss us off. And it's working, but can't go too crazy on it. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a fantastic Saturday. I went on a run and it got me. It got me today. I am out of shape, my friends. Jabo, what up, man? Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. We're going to talk about Joe Biden and transing Easter. He's trying to make Easter not so sacred anymore. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. If you are here, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll get right into it. I got plenty of stuff to cover tonight. I don't know if we'll get through all of it, but we're going to try. Wally World, nice to see you. Wally, whenever you pop up in the chat, it always reminds me to get Scarlett to come over and say hi. I don't know why she doesn't get excited about the show anymore. She's kind of over it. Scarlett, are you going to come say hi? Okay, all right. Come say hi to everybody. All right, I know. You like the heater. Okay, don't just paw at me. Come on, you know the routine. Okay. All right, guys. If you don't know, this is Scarlett. She likes to stomp on my balls. Oh, just like that. All right. Okay, you go and lay down. Okay, people. Let's talk about Joe Biden and his nonsense, shall we? Let's make sure we're live on all the platforms first. Looks like we are live on YouTube, Rumble, and yep, looks like we're good over on X. Let me check here. Yeah, looks like we're good. All right, let's see here. So, we'll just get right into it and read Joe Biden's little statement here. So, this whole transgender day of whatever has been around since, I guess, 2009 or something. It's been around for a long time, but they're saying it just happens to fall on Easter this year. It's like, well, yeah, but why did Joe Biden make a big old giant thing of it? So let's see what his statement is here. So this is from Chuck Castillo, and he says, actually, let me get in the right screen here. What you guys did? Yeah, that one's better. All right. So Joe Biden, the White House. I have your back, he starts off with. Now, therefore, I, Joseph R. Biden, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim March 31st, 2024 as Transgender Day of Visibility. I call upon all Americans to join us in lifting up the lives and voices of transgender people throughout our nation, and to work towards eliminating violence and discrimination based on gender ideology. Does that include transgender people that decide to go into a school and shoot up a bunch of kids? Does it include that? In witness whereof, I have hereunto. Oh, I didn't know that was one word. Hereunto. How fancy. In witness of, I have hereunto set my hand this 29th day of March. Why do they got to talk all old-timey when they're trying to do official president stuff? Why has he got to try to sound like Lincoln? In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 29th day of March in the year of our Lord, 2024, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 248th. I didn't notice that before. He said in the year of our Lord. So this is absolutely a troll, you guys. You know this, right? And obviously this isn't Biden's idea. Biden is a freaking can of soup. He doesn't know what's going on. He didn't write this. He didn't think this. He has no clue. Biden is not. Everybody knows he's a puppet. He's a shell of a man. He's not making any of these decisions, and he sure as hell isn't writing this. So what does that mean? It's clearly just all the other stuff that's going on, where it seems like they're trying to attack every fundamental institution, piece of Americana, or everything that makes America America. They're trying to attack it. And yes, he didn't say this transgender day of visibility, as if trans people don't scream, look at me everywhere they go all the time, that they need more visibility. But he didn't say it's on Easter every year, but he came out and made this whole official thing the day before Easter. It's a troll. It's a troll. It's frustrating, but can't get too triggered. Northside, Saturday stream. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Well, I'm going to stream every Saturday now. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to stream every Saturday. Probably going to push the time back. Wally World, can't believe they would do this during Ramadan. Yeah, well, they sure did. What do you mean you can't believe it? You really can't believe it? I mean, after all the stuff they've done, and just I can absolutely believe it. It's okay. Eric, I wonder how his proclamation compares to those made on this subject in the past. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, this has never fallen on Easter, so like he could, if he would have done this for any other day, we just would have been like, whatever, okay, they're trying to make everything trans again, and we would have moved on with our day. It just would have been another stupid thing that the Biden regime does, but he did it on Easter. He did it the day before Easter, and he decided to make a thing of it, like, hey, tomorrow's not Easter, tomorrow's Trans Day. Tomorrow is everybody look at me, I'm Trans Day. And it's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face to all Christians, and it's a dickhead move. Radio Foreman, cheers. Nice to see you. Happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter. Not Transgender Day. Not Transgender Day of look at me. All right, let's keep going here. So, yeah, let's not let them troll us too much. Let's go to James Lindsay here. He kind of put this in perspective. I'm going to read a longer thing that he wrote right here that's just directly pertaining to, well, it's just a direct reaction to this whole Biden regime nonsense. Okay, so James Lindsay says, I have a feeling this is going to be really bad for me, but it has to be said. The dynamic must be explained. I don't know why he started off with this. This isn't bad for him. Okay, so he says, yesterday on Good Friday, one of the high holy days of the Christian faith, the Biden administration proclaimed Easter Sunday, March 31st, 2024, specifically to be Trans Day of Visibility. The official White House press release shows that an Easter bunny on the White House, by the White House, indicating they're fully aware that they are making this proclamation specifically about Easter Sunday, even though Easter is not specifically mentioned in the proclamation. This isn't just an insult to the Christian faith, and indeed an intolerable one that proclaims a form of embodied Gnostic theosophy that misleads and destroys kids. It is entirely consistent with the woke theosophy, as I've discussed elsewhere, and may attach here as a threat. But it is more than that. It is a deliberate provocation against Christians that must be understood. Completely agree. A key principle of the woke activism is your target's reaction is your real action. That derives from the Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals and has been codified in the updated activism manual called Beautiful Trouble. They do these provocations intentionally, as I have described in length in the past, as means of stoking a reaction they can use to their advantage. So he gets to the point here. On the reactionary side at the present, it must be indicated that there are multiple overlapping active measures to drag faithful Christians into reactionary stances. One is the prevailing Operation Christian Nationalism, which this same administration is framing as one of the most dangerous threats to democracy in our world today. Another is the more local and specific radicalized attempt during the Holy Week that follows the Christian rhetoric of Christ is King, which has been successfully tied to anti-Semitic trope and active measures meant to drive a wedge between Christians and Jews and Christians and other Christians. I have taken tremendous heat for exposing the active measure as have many others, which is a testament to its status as an active measure. This provocation published yesterday is overwhelmingly likely aiming to feed into those prevailing active measures, ops, meaning to drag Christians into into a position of fruitful reaction that the regime can use to clamp down on them once again. Christian reaction as their real action, and we know for certain that Christian circles are deeply infiltrated with a chest-beating and growing radicalism that is being baited towards associated with a growing anti-Semitism. The responses at this point will also certainly prove this out, by the way. Your evil government wants this to happen. They are baiting you into it. What should you do? All right, so here's the point. You should cleave your faith by wisdom and discernment. You should celebrate your Christianity as loud and as publicly as you want, and you should do so. You should do so aware that the reaction is being solicited from you. Pray for those caught up in the trans cult. Make your prayers visible. Welcome them to healing and communion, even if they're not ready to take it. Likewise, pray for these evil leaders that they repent of this wickedness. Pray also for those professing Christianity, but not practicing it, seeking to lead Christians into error from within, that they repent and find forgiveness, peace, strength, and ultimately faith. More than that, celebrate your faith openly and on terms that avoid the desired reaction of these enemies of both the church and our nations. Proclaim he is risen and celebrate your salvation through him. Do not be afraid, but do not take this evil path that is being offered to you. I advise reading Matthew 10. It is entirely in the dangerous time in which your religion is targeted and in which you are being targeted and identified for this persecution, which is being set up through these provocations. It contains wisdom and guidance for times precisely like these. Happy Easter, everyone, and may the good news of your faith overpower the evil being done against it, not through chest-beating reaction and temptations of evil, but through the power of peace, repentance, forgiveness that is in the heart of it. For all other people in all the nations of the world, let not this weapon that has been forged against you prevail. Keep your faith, keep your head. These are trying times. I love James Lindsay. He's great. So I don't think James Lindsay's a Christian. I think he considers himself agnostic, but he reads everything. James Lindsay's like borderline genius level. He is I don't know if genius, but he's one of those guys that can just absorb all the knowledge you feed him. He reads incessantly, and I don't know if he has a photographic memory, but I'll read something and I'll get to the bottom of the page and be like, what did I just read? I'm stupid. I can't remember half the shit I read. Like, not even kidding. I have to read stuff twice all the time. And James Lindsay has the ability to he's a lot like Whitney Webb. He can just soak up information and then it's there. It's there. He can pull it out like he's got all this stuff stored in file cabinets all over the place. He's a wealth of knowledge, and I've disagreed with him on some stuff, but to me, he has the ability to sort of step back and see the bigger picture, and not being a Christian. And he can see what's happening from that perspective, that this is an attack on Christians. He makes the analogy with I listen to every single one of his podcasts, not only his New Discourses podcast, which is fantastic, but I listen to every single thing that he's on, every podcast that he goes on. I'm a huge James Lindsay fan. And he compares wokeness to, he basically not compares it to, he basically sums it up as modern day Marxism. And it's being done not economically, but using social justice in order to do it. And instead of creating, the oppressor victim with economics, where you had like the farmers and the landowners that were the bourgeois, and they held down the working class and the poor people. That's how those dynamics works back in, Lenin. That's how Marxists portrayed this whole thing and presented this whole thing. And that's how Lenin bought into it. And it was more based on economics. It doesn't work here. They tried that here, but it doesn't really work. People aren't buying into it because, capitalism has worked so well for America. People will argue with me there, but they found a way to inject it into social justice and make social justice the hierarchy of victimhood. So instead of having rich people and poor people, and that's your oppressor victim dynamic, now it's all based on immutable characteristics. You know, if you're white, straight, Christian, and not disabled, you are at the bottom of that victimhood hierarchy. And you know, but if you're a woman, if you're a heterosexual woman that's also straight, also white, you're a little bit above. And then they bring skin color into it, and then they bring sexual orientation into it, and that's where you and feminism versus racial causes. That's where you get the whole thing that they call intersectionality, where social justice, different aspects of social justice intersect. And you got feminism, you've got, you know, social justice for black causes, the BLM stuff that intersects with feminism, all that crap, all that gobbledygook. That's what this is. And it seems that this whole ideology, this woke ideology, which is Marxism at its core, has infiltrated every institution in our country. It's infiltrated the government, it's infiltrated education, it's infiltrated the judicial system. It's bad. And it really is like an infection. Especially because they seem to always take over the high positions of all of these different institutions. They become gatekeepers. That's why you get cancel culture that works so well, because there could still be people inside these institutions that aren't buying into all this crap. But if they're not the gatekeepers, you ain't getting the job. So it's taking place. It's happening. But I think for me, his whole message here is sort of that evil never prevails. And it's sort of like the same message in The White Pill. Michael Malice's The White Pill, where it's just do everything you can to be a good person, be healthy, wealthy, and wise, live your best life. That's how you win. Because what's funny is that when you look into the woke cult, essentially, all these different people that consider themselves activists or progressives, they are very unhealthy, both mentally and physically, for the most part. You don't see a lot of super woke people at the gym. You don't see a lot of super woke people in the dojo. You don't see a lot of super woke people running trails. There's a lot of people that are very unhealthy, and that might be why they're going after it too. They're going after people with mental disorders. All right, I'm being pretty spicy here. Let's keep going. All right, Terry Wallace, nice to see you. Nah, you're never late. A wizard arrives precisely when they attend to. Sorry, I had to make a Lord of the Rings Gandalf reference there. All righty. So, okay, I'll quit blabbering on that one. We'll go to the next thing. So, this is from Leading Report, and they're talking about Dr. Ben Carson. You know, I like Ben Carson. He says, breaking presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson released a statement about Biden declaring March 31st Transgender Visibility Day. I thought this was fake. This is Ben Carson's quote. I thought this was fake news, but we checked it out, and in fact, it came from the White House, and it is true. Can you believe that we are detracting from the celebration of the resurrection of Christ on Easter this year by declaring Transgender Visibility Day that same day? That is truly insensitive. So, I mean, that was like the mildest disagreement with the thing that you could possibly have. But remember when was it last summer, when he invited a bunch of transits to the White House, and then one of them took their top off? Like, the level of degeneracy coming from this administration is, I mean, it's almost reminiscent of those Podesta emails, isn't it? We'll keep going. All right. So in response, I don't know if this is in response to this, but another radical that seems to do everything she can to trigger and gaslight the right, Kathy Hochul, New York Governor Kathy Hochul orders major state landmarks lit up in the trans flag colors on Easter Sunday, including Niagara Falls and One World Trade Center. So they're going to light up the steeple on One World Trade Center and Niagara Falls, I guess. Is upstate New York woke? I mean, I wouldn't imagine that Niagara Falls is super woke. It's all right. It's annoying. It's annoying and it's frustrating. Okay. Let's go to Oilfield Rando here on Twitter. This person says the founder of International Transgender Visibility Day, Rachel Crandall Crocker, claims to have come out at 8 years old. And he says they are 100% coming after your kids. And that's sort of the overall point that I'm getting to here. With them infiltrating education the way that they have, it's absolutely true. I told you guys I coach cross country. I doubt I'll be invited back to coach cross country because the people in Santa Cruz will try to cancel me. But the thing is, like, I don't coach cross. If they do try to cancel me, I don't coach cross country for the money. I do it because I like it. I do it because I like to teach kids how to work hard at something and go out and do difficult things. And also the technical aspects of trail running. I like coaching. I like teaching people things that I've learned. It's rewarding to me. It's fulfilling. And yeah, and I get to run. So it's a win-win. But it actually is kind of inconvenient for me. It would be easier if I didn't coach cross country. So if they go after me and try to cancel me from cross country, all they're doing is a disservice to the kids because it's really no skin off my back. I mean, yeah, I'd like to do it. I don't even know if I can because of work now, but you know, I would like to do it. It's rewarding. I find fulfillment in that. But you know, I'm not going to lose any sleep if they say I can't coach cross country, but I have a feeling they're going to do that. Point is, when I started last season, one of the former cross country coach comes up to me and says, "Yeah, you might have a they them on your team." And she says it kind of laughing but serious, like telling me. I'm like, no, I won't. Like, that's not a thing. And she just immediately was like, uh-oh, like this could be a thing. And it fortunately didn't turn out to be a thing. And I knew which athlete it was. And she's a girl. She's like very clearly a girl, a young girl. I think she's a sixth or a seventh grader. And these ideas aren't coming from the kids. I'm 40. How many, you guys that are my age, how many trans people did you have in high school? How many trans kids? When I was a kid, that was like, I swear, this is like a fad. It's like a fad. It's coming from parents. It's coming from social media. It's the peer pressure, all that crap. But when I was in school, it was gay. It was like saying I'm bi. Like that was a fad. Like the drama kids, the kids that are in drama class, they would decide that they're bi all of a sudden. That was kind of a thing. We had a couple, I won't name any names in case they're still out there. Well, of course they're still out there, but yeah, there's one kid that I swear this kid pretended to be bi so he could get in good with the girls. And he was I believe there's an actual term for it it's called a sneaky fucker, where they are super feminine. They're not masculine at all. They don't have any masculine traits. So but they're still into girls. And the only way that they can get girls is pretend, like I'm kind of gay. I'm just like you. And then, sort of weasel their way in there. And there was one kid that was like that. But now that it's I don't know about the sneaky fucker thing, but the trans kids thing. How is there's this explosion of trans kids? This isn't coming from the kids. This is coming from white liberal women that have cluster B disorders. It's coming from social media. It's coming from peer pressure. It's coming from the medical establishment that once they can get kids to take puberty blockers and go ahead and chop off their pee-pee, well, then they got customers for life, don't they? It's sick. It's truly sick what's happening right now. All right, let's listen to this Rachel Crandall Crocker, who is the founder of International Transgender Visibility Day. Let's listen to this person talk. This is 20 seconds here. I'm not sure. Holy crap. You guys remember the Batman with Michael Keaton? Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin? This is Oswald Cobblepot. Like, looks the exact same. This is definitely Oswald Cobblepot right here.
I tried to come out to my parents when I was 8 years old, okay? And that was in 1967. Let's just say it didn't go well.
Okay. Seems perfectly level-headed. Nothing wrong there. All right. Let's keep going here. Yeah, JB, you know what I'm talking about. The sneaky fuckers, it's like a really thing. I think this is from I think it might come from the chicken world. Not sure. Eric, I've lot looked. How many trans are non-white? I don't know. Let's see. Michael Letter. Another bridge was hit by a boat today. Shut up. Are you joking? Michael, you're playing, right? Hold up. What, are you serious? Don't play with me. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I almost want to like pause everything and look at that. Are you serious? Another boat? Did you guys see the post I put out last night? If you go to my highlights tab, I did a big long write up last night after the show. I had stuff on my mind and I clipped a clip from last night's episode and I put sort of my two theories of what it could have been if it was intentional. If the Francis Scott Key Bridge was intentionally taken down. Holy crap, Terry, he's not kidding in Oklahoma. No joke, Route 59 bridge hit. What was it hit by? Was it hit by another shipping container? Or a container ship? You guys got to be kidding me. Look at my write-up from last night. I mean, holy crap. You got to be joking. Are they... okay, I'll have to look into it. Man, see, I unplugged from the internet to go on a run, and I'm away from the internet for like 3 hours by a barge. What the hell? You got to be kidding me. Is the bridge damaged? What's the... oh, my God. Unreal. All right. I'm talking about the transits tonight, you guys. I can't Deanna Brown and yes, a barge. What the hell? I'm assuming it didn't take the bridge down, or that would be like front page. It'd be on everybody's. It didn't collapse, but closed road. Okay. What the hell? All right, I gotta find this now. All right, let me see here. You know what? Yeah, I gotta find this now. All right, where was it again? Oklahoma. I'm just gonna search Oklahoma boat. See what comes up here. Let's see. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Why isn't this trending right now? Huh. Search Oklahoma bridge. You guys got to be kidding me. Okay. Oh, man. All right, let's watch this. I don't want to change the subject, but...
He was moving quick.
Holy hell!
Holy hell!
Holy shit! Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that barge is loose.
Is there multiple barges there? What's going on here?
He was moving quick.
That barge is loose.
There's a man standing right there.
No, it didn't knock that bridge down. I don't know. Oh my God.
I feel like I'm about to throw up.
Look at the barge. How to get in the barge. Hey, Tyler, get your phone and call 911. Because they have to shut this bridge down.
How are we going to get done?
I love their voice. I love their voice so much.
Holy hell, look at that barge, what it did. And the guy
Did it rip the barge in half? Like, or was there two boats right there? What is going on?
not see it. I don't know. Look, that one's loose. It's all loose from the barge, I think. Oh my gosh, man. I think he's let go of it.
Oh, okay. I'm stupid. I didn't even know. So barges aren't self-propelled, are they? They're like pulled around by tugboats. Okay, right? I don't know. I'm not good at this.
That one hit the what bridge is this? US 59.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Tyler Crawford. This is US 59.
US 59 bridge at Kerr
US
Reservoir.
59 at Kerr Reservoir. We just seen a barge hit the bridge pillar.
And barges are loose.
Barges are loose in the river right now.
Okay, so it looks like they're being towed. Unreal. Okay, so wait, what? Deanna Browning, China's claiming responsibility for the Key Bridge. Oh man, you guys look at my write-up. So my whole theory was all right. So a lot of people were saying that the Francis Scott Key Bridge, if it was a terrorist attack, it would have been a bad. Like, why did they pick 1 o'clock in the morning to do it, and why that bridge? Because it's that port isn't like the most important port in the country, or all those ports in there. Well, my whole theory was, and after I looked into it it looks like, what is it? Marx, and I forget what the owner and the operator, there's these two different companies, and they were both, I mean, back in like 2018, looking to implement LiDAR on their vessels to, like on cars, when you're veering into the other lane, it'll tell you that you're veering into the other lane, and some cars it'll even correct. Like they're putting that technology into these boats. And if that stuff can be hacked, if it has control of the rudder, my whole idea was, what if a bad actor only had access to that particular vessel, because that's like the software they had access to in that particular vessel, and they couldn't control when or where that thing was going. They could only hack into it and potentially feed the operator, the people in the wheelhouse, bad information, saying you are on a collision course, and then they adjust course that really puts them on a collision course, and then they cut power to the boat, and they're like, oh shit, we're really going to hit the. So that was my whole theory. But I was thinking more because of Russia, because of our proximity, the whole proximity to the attack on Moscow. Moscow clearly blames us, in at least partially, for that attack. And yeah, that was my whole idea. So interesting. Eric, yes, looks like a tandem set, 3 barge wide. Yes, barges move by towboats. Deanna Brownin, sorry. I saw one video where China news. It's not trending. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, just a minor accident. All right, what the heck? What a coinky dink, huh? That one does look like an accident to me. I mean, it's broad daylight. They could see the damn thing. But how do you tow the freaking barges right into the... Man, like, are you drunk? What happened there? What a coinky dink, huh? I'm not even implying both of these events. Okay. A third one? What is it? What do they say? Once is a fluke, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern, something like that. I probably butchered that, but okay, let's get back to the trans stuff, shall we? Because that was the whole that was supposed to be my first segment here. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go over to Billboard Chris here. And this is what I'm talking about. This is where I'm saying this stuff ain't coming from kids. This whole trans ideology stuff is not coming from kids. It's coming from their crazy white liberal cluster B mothers that want to have what do they call it? Munchausen by proxy. That's what this is. Just, I need attention, so I'm going to trans my kid. Yeah, Okay, let's watch what this mother has to say. It's Billboard Chris here.
So I had to do some investigating. I had to do some serious inward discovery and realize that nobody can
I had to do some serious inward discovery to realize I need to cut off my son's pee-pee.
make you be LGBTQ. Nobody can make you gay, queer. Nobody can make you trans.
No, but your mother can trick you into thinking that you are if she's a psychopath.
She was born this way. My other daughter was born that way.
You feel that way?
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. And you're in a cult, and this is evil, what you're doing to your child. It's flat out evil.
Georgie?
Yeah, completely.
What do you say to somebody who thinks that this was brought on you, or this was?
I think you have a dangerous mindset that their ideals and opinions are hurting a community that is already hurting.
Why are you hurting? I'm not going to argue with the child. This child is brainwashed. This is sick. This is absolutely sick. Okay.
When you first heard the term transgender, what did you think?
I thought that's me.
Why?
I don't know. I've never really, I was never uncomfortable with identifying as a boy. It was just.
Oh, so it was something like a fad that you hopped on because it seemed cool and popular. And you're going to end up being tricked into making irreversible decisions. I think you still can't get a tattoo unless you're 18. I think you still can't do that. But you can cut off girls' tits. You can give kids puberty blockers. We'll get into what they're doing in Canada. It's absolutely insane. I can't even, this is a 3.5 minute video. We're only 1 minute into it, and I'm already triggered in like 19 different ways.
When I heard it, I realized I would be much more comfortable.
When she said, I'm transgender, it clicked with me. It made perfect sense. She may never have felt those inconsistencies when she was younger, but I saw them. So it 100% when she said, I'm transgender, there wasn't a doubt. I believed her from moment one.
Because you're in a cult.
Once a child makes that commitment that they're willing to live, to socially transition and live their life as a gender other than what they were assigned at birth, we have to support them. We have to.
What if your child wants a tattoo? Do you support that? What if your child says, I'm not supposed to have my right arm? I need to chop off my right arm. Are you going to support that?
Let them know that we believe them, that they are a human and
they're a child. What if we need to believe them. We need to believe children. No, they're children. They don't have the mental capacity to even understand lifelong decisions. It's freaking psychotic. This is psychotic.
the gender that they believe they are. Specifically when they're in a household where they're maybe not getting the support that they need. Having that at school is so important for their mental health.
Next year when I go to...
All of this is horrible for a kid's mental health. Everyone around this kid, this is a boy, and everybody around this kid knows that's a boy, and they're going to be forced to say she and all that. And then what if this boy wants to play sports? The girls in the locker room, no matter what they say, if they say they're okay with it, they're okay. We're embracing so-and-so over here. They're not going to be comfortable with this boy in the locker room changing and getting naked next to them. You know, that doesn't happen so much in school. I mean, when I was in school, I never once had to get naked in the boys' locker room completely. I mean, down to my boxers, but that was about it. But if boys are in girls' locker rooms, even if girls are just changing their shirts, this is insane. This child is not going to be accepted as a girl because it's not a girl. He is not a girl. And that is going to have long-term psychological consequences from the child. You heard earlier, he said, I never felt uncomfortable as a boy. I never had a problem identifying as a boy. But then when somebody explained transgender, I was just like, oh yeah, that's me. And I felt more comfortable identifying that way. You felt just more comfortable. You're a teen and you're confused and you're going through puberty. So you're just all your hormones and everything's all worked up and you're a little wacky, like any teen. And you're being tricked into something that's only going to make any potential mental health issues that you have 10 times worse. They try to guilt people into saying, well, if you don't affirm your child's gender, they're going to be more likely to commit suicide. Would you rather have a alive daughter or a dead son? That's what they say. That's how they guilt fathers into this crap. And it's a lie. You're making your child more likely to do something horrible down the road. I'm not a psychologist, but I guarantee you any psychologist, well, any non-woke psychologist, anybody that's not in the cult, this is a cult. It's cult-like behavior. All of this stuff.
Back to public school, I would like to use the women's restroom because I identify as a woman.
Oh, so you're going to sit down when you pee all the time? Oh, this is so frustrating.
You know, if I'm going to the bathroom and, you know, it's a free period and everyone is, you know, they'd see me avoid the women's restroom and go into the counselor's office to use the bathroom.
So it's important to you to feel like you belong?
Yeah.
I get angry. I get very angry. Well, I get angry for her that they're wanting to take this away from her. But I get angry because I feel like my parental rights, my right to have my daughter receive the whatever medical care I feel she needs taken away from me.
Well,
Medical care? Oh, what are we talking about now? This woman is a psychopath.
well, I think that stopping hormone treatment, stopping puberty blockers, that it's really dangerous.
This child's on puberty blockers.
You are taking a couple detransitioners' opinions over hundreds of thousands of transgender people who are actively disagreeing. The fact that they had to take a detransitioner from California just because they couldn't find one locally, that says a lot. Taking their word on it instead of, you know, a marginalized group who just want to exist.
Then you can go through your normal childhood, and when you're 18, you can do whatever you want. Go ahead, do whatever you want. You don't have the mental capacity to understand the long-term ramifications of this. This is child abuse. When on earth did we ever let children call these shots? This is freaking bananas. I'm not even a parent. This drives me insane.
It's dangerous.
You're damn right it's dangerous. It's just not the danger you think it is. It's completely different. Okay. Yeah, you don't have the mental capacity to vote. Maddie Bracco, nice to see you. Okay. Eric trained well, isn't he? Yes, it's disgusting. This era's cry for attention. Exactly. Damn articulate kid. Yeah, it does. It sounds like a smart kid that is just being psychologically manipulated. You do not need mental capacity to vote, though. Okay, that's fair, but that's a different conversation altogether. The kid's vocabulary is odd. My kids used advanced vocabulary, but this kid screams coach. Yeah. Elaine Sabatino, so sad. I agree. Maddie Bracco, oh Lord. Lurchings, I have been duped. I totally see what you are saying. I think you're joking there. North side. Important to belong in the women's restroom. Nope. Get that out of here. Yeah, I know. Terry Wallace, the obsession with the bathroom does me in. Yeah. in my opinion, they admit that 0% of the they admit that 0% of the post of trans have sexual function. Yeah, they're sterilizing them, and they're making it. If these kids go through gender transition surgery, they're sterilizing them, and they can never have an orgasm. They don't understand what they're giving up, what they're doing to their. Oh, so frustrating. Post-op trans, I got you. Okay, let's keep going here. They're coming for your children. Let's go to Wall Street Apes. So this is crazy. So this is what they're doing up in Canada, and of course the pharmaceutical companies and the medical industry is going to be completely behind this because they're creating lifelong clients, lifelong pharmaceutical customers, and if you have the surgery, you're going to have follow-ups. The surgery itself costs a bunch of money. So the surgeons that are doing this are categorically evil. Straight up categorically evil. The pharmaceutical companies that are pushing this, the same companies that push the vaccine on everybody, that's all they care about. They are categorically evil. Okay, so this is from Wall Street Apes. He says, this story exposes what's happening to kids in gender clinics, and it's horrifying. And this isn't just up in Canada. And believe it or not, the CBC did this. The CBC News Canada sent a 14-year-old girl undercover into a gender clinic saying she saw a trans influencer on YouTube she relates to. So watch this video. I think it's only 3 minutes long, but this is insane. I can't believe CBC did this. They're straight up government sponsored media, and they did this like real legit investigative journalism. It's crazy, but check this out. Like within minutes, look what they're offering this child. This child said, yeah, I decided I'm trans from watching a social media influencer.
The most amazing part of this story is that the CBC did this. They did an incredible piece of investigative journalism, like real journalism. They sent a 14-year-old actress undercover into a pediatric gender clinic somewhere in Quebec. She told this story, it's filmed, and she tells this story to the doctor. She has an eating disorder, and she went on YouTube or whatever, and she came across a trans influencer who also had an eating disorder, but realized that they were trans, and that's why they had the eating disorder. So then they
does that make any sense at all to you guys? I have this eating disorder, and I have this eating disorder because I'm trans. So they're self-diagnosing. And something that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's psychologically, I mean, you guys, I bought this for fun. And read it for fun. This is the DSM-5, the Diagnostical Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, which the trans lobbyists lobbied heavily to have gender dysphoria changed and taken out of that book and not classified as a mental health disorder. It's a whole other conversation, but you can't self-diagnose mental health disorders. And this person's saying that I have an eating disorder and it's because I'm trans, and I learned about this from a social media influencer. And this was the clinic's reaction.
transitioned and everything was wonderful. The problem solved. They feel great about themselves. She's telling this story to the gender clinician. Within 5 minutes, the clinician has asked her if she wants a mastectomy.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Oh, you learned that your eating disorder is because you're really trans. You learned this from a trans social media influencer and self-diagnosed. Hey, let's chop your tits off. 5 minutes.
Within 7 minutes, I think there's talk of a hysterectomy because internal organs can trigger dysphoria.
2 minutes later, you know what? Yeah, I'm really buying into this. Let's sterilize you. Let's make it so you can never have children.
And within 9 minutes, she's got a prescription for testosterone. No parents there. This is a 14-year-old girl telling the story that she basically self-diagnosed as trans because she saw someone online. So incredible piece of journalism, great article that came out with it. And then trans activists, a couple of weeks later, smashed the windows of the CBC headquarters in Montreal. And then they released this statement, bonkers, totally crazy statement. We have the right to experiment in our bodies, even if we make a mistake, we have the right to make these mistakes. The state should not be interfering. And then a whole lot of absolutely outrageous accusations about the far right. And if you carry on reporting like this transphobic reporting, we will fight back again. There will be further retaliation. That's what the statement says. But bear in mind what they are responding to. They're responding to a story about a 14-year-old who was put on testosterone after 9 minutes. And she basically told the doctor that she came to that conclusion online and she has an eating disorder. So that is why they smashed the windows, because they think that 14-year-old should have the right to experiment as she sees fit, even if it means making a mistake. That is actually what they're responding to. Of course, they're looking at it through their own very selfish lens of, I want to be able to modify my body however I choose. I want the state to pay for it. We don't want state interference, but we do want the state to fund it. And I don't care about the 14-year-old girl. They have no concern for the collateral damage, which is all of these young kids who they are just getting sucked into something way bigger than they understand. They're just interpreting their normal teenage angst and pubertal woes as being a sign that they are transgender. And then crazy doctors like this one in Quebec give them a prescription for testosterone. But these activists are they've already smashed windows. They're threatening retaliation. And this is only the beginning.
This is like the biggest medical scandal of this era, including COVID, including the mandated vaccines, including that. This is a bigger scandal than that. This will be looked at as worse than lobotomies. What was it? Was it thalidomide? It'll be looked at worse than any of the quack doctors that did crazy quackery back in the day. This is, because not only are they just wrong, I can't imagine how many suicides there's going to be in the future. But so not only are they just wrong, I think a lot of these people know they're wrong, and they're doing it for the money. They're doing it for the profit. They're predators. This is insane. And this isn't in the DSM-5, but autogynephilia. If you guys have heard of autogynephilia, a lot of people find they are attracted to themselves dressed up as a woman. They look at themselves in the mirror dressed up as a woman, and they get turned on by it. They get sexually aroused by it. And these are the predators a lot of the times that you're allowing into Planet Fitness, that you're allowing to choose whatever locker room, whatever bathroom that they want to look at. There are tons of predators taking advantage of all of this stuff and waving their trans flag around because they feel like they're welcome into this community. They're trying to normalize MAPS. The MAPS are minor attracted persons, which isn't a thing. You're a pedophile. This is so insidious on so many freaking levels. You have all these different psychological disorders converging into this group. And you hear how they attacked the building. Look, I don't know if you guys know Foundering. Foundering is he's a pianist. He does ragtime piano, and he makes satire songs. And he's been canceled in every imaginable way. And it's because he's had some songs go viral, like The Speed of Science. He did one called The Speed of Science. He has another one called Transurrection. He was my first guest that I ever had on this show. He's a local Santa Cruz guy. And people around here are freaking psycho. Obviously not all of them, but the trans crap, the super woke cult member, dangerous people, there's a lot of them around here, and they will threaten violence on you. Me talking about this stuff, especially if as the show gets more popular, I am putting a huge target on my back. I am not going to shut up about it. This is the most insidious thing that's happening in our generation right now. It's disgusting. It's freaking disgusting what's happening. Let's keep going. Check in with the chat. Maddie Bracco, but parents are allowed to be the cool parents with a different kid. So what if the kid is sterile? The parent is cool now. Yeah, no kidding. And psych patients, Elaine Sabatino, when they realize they've been duped, it's horrific. It's freaking horrific. And you got so there's the detransitioner kids and people that decided, yeah, I was duped into all this stuff. But you also have parent detransitioners, parents that I watched. There's a great, if you guys watch Trigonometry, I watched an episode from like a year ago when they interviewed this mother who she was all on board with this stuff, the social transitioning. She never gave her kid puberty blockers or anything, but she had 2 kids, and she had like a wake-up call moment when she disagreed slightly with some things, and the pushback was so insane that it sort of like set something off where she said, I'll play a little bit from it, but she says she was like, it was like leaving a cult. These people are so bought into this that it forms their entire worldview. Like their entire worldview is built around this thing. And it's like if you're to say I was wrong about this, you have to look at what you've done. You have to, if you're the parent, you have to look at the fact that, oh, holy crap, I sterilized my child. I made it so my child can never have an orgasm. My child is going to hate me. I might have put my child in a position where they don't know how they're going to move on with their life. Like it's freaking evil that, so people can't admit that they were wrong. They're so bought into this cult that they have to just hang on and say everybody else is wrong. And there isn't enough people pushing back against this because they're so scared of the woke cult, because they threaten all of this stuff. There's not enough people standing up because they know they'll try to cancel you, and they will. But they can't cancel everybody. And if everybody starts standing up to this crap and starts saying like, whoa, okay, we've gone way too far. We're giving kids puberty blockers. We're giving kids mastectomies. This is insane. What are we doing? This is absolutely insane. If enough people start speaking out against this and not just kind of, hey, this is bad, not speaking quietly, but screaming from the freaking rooftops that you guys are maniacs, you're evil, you're psychopaths. Everyone needs to come out of the woodwork and be talking about this because it's happening everywhere. This stuff has infiltrated schools all across America. It's not just here in California in the wokest of the woke in Santa Cruz. It's everywhere. Oh, all right. Let's see. Eric, wait, let me go back. Isn't that how COVID happened? Everyone was claiming the symptoms of COVID. Well, yeah, but doctors were paid more. From my understanding, the hospitals were paid more if a death was a COVID death. So a lot of the deaths were marked as COVID, and then a lot of the cases were marked as COVID when they weren't actually COVID as well. It's crazy how the flu just disappeared. Remember how the flu just was gone those 2 years? Flu gone. Doesn't exist. It's like you look at it on a chart. It's zero. The flu completely disappeared. Yeah, that didn't happen. It just struck me. Transgenderism is the lead into the Borg. Oh, is the lead into the Borg? Yeah. You will be assimilated. Yeah, kinda. If you guys aren't Star Trek fans, the Borg was kind of how I first learned about like hive mind, cult mentality. That I was a Trekkie growing up, especially the Next Generation. Yeah, I read the Foundering story. Santa Cruz is out of control. You read that whole thing? That was long. He's a borderline genius, that dude. Like it's such a shame the time that we live in, because he is so talented on the piano, and he's one of those minds that thinks so fast and is so abstract that it's like you can't really identify it with. You can't like. It's hard to grasp his level of. I call him a genius. I really think he is a genius. I would love to see what his IQ is, because the dude is off the charts smart, but because of this, he's been canceled and he can barely find work. So this is what this is doing too. You're getting super highly qualified people. Like, look what COVID did. All the people that refuse to take the vax. Tons of people that have a really strong moral foundation are like, nope, I'm not taking this. Well, how many times does a really strong moral foundation coincide with highly capable people? You're getting people out of positions that are highly capable because they're not willing to just go along with the Borg. They're not willing to be assimilated. So, and James Lindsay talks about this too. And this is why we're on such a dangerous trajectory, because like James Lindsay was just on a podcast talking about how we have such a problem with building new nuclear reactors, new nuclear facilities, because we have quite literally gotten to a point where people don't know how to do it. The people that are experts in these fields have either retired or they died, and people aren't learning this stuff. This is how you ended up with the Holodomor. This is how you ended up with mass famine, when you go after all the farmers and the landowners and they're the bourgeois. You got to take all their stuff from them. And then all of a sudden there's nobody planting food the next year, and then there's no food and millions of people starve. This is the kind of path that we're going on, you guys, especially with the food supply chains, the net zero crap, how we have to get rid of all these things that produce life stabilizing stuff for us. And the road, this is why people say the road we are going down is going to lead to mass death, because it is. We are disrupting supply chains in such a way, and we're not teaching the knowledge required to grow food, to create infrastructure. Everything's going to start falling apart. All of this DEI stuff, where they say now it's associated with the N-word, when DEI isn't even just for Black people. It's for transes, it's for BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color. It's all that stuff. It's not meritocracy. It's the opposite of meritocracy. And this is the road that we're going down. We're going to get to a point where it's like, holy shit, nobody knows how to do anything. We're screwed. Nobody knows how to grow food. Nobody knows how to work on this nuclear reactor. All sorts of stuff. Anyway, I'll keep going. Matty Bracco, the family lineage ends with them. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm scared my family lineage is going to end with me. I'm 40 and I still don't have kids, and a lot of that's obviously my fault, but especially after the last 4 years, I don't want to date anybody. Like, I don't want to date a vaccinated chick. Like, I just don't. I don't want to date. And the reason is this might sound terrible, but I don't want somebody that took the COVID vaccine giving birth to my future child. I don't want that. And so, yeah, I don't even want to have that conversation. Like, if I'm interested in a girl that I met and we are kind of feeling each other, and then I got to ask the question, like, so did you take the vaccine? You did? Okay, this ain't gonna work. Like, I really am. That's where I'm at. It's just that by itself. And then you have all the crazy wokeness and stuff. Like my buddy Harrison Tinsley. He was in a relationship with a girl. She got pregnant. Everything was going great. And then all of a sudden she started talking wacky when she was about 5 months pregnant, talking about how her boy that's in her belly is actually going to be a girl. And Harrison's like, wait, whoa, what are you talking about? Harrison didn't even get to meet his child until his child was 5 months old. Like, that's why I don't date, because chicks are so freaking crazy. The COVID vaccine, all this stuff. I don't want to date anybody. Shit is bananas. Not to mention, I need to get my shit together a little bit more before I actually date somebody. That's a whole nother story. Matty Bracco, hold the line, brother. Yeah. Well, I'm trying. Northside. Okay, wait. This is interesting. How cool could I get some test in 10 minutes and get to stay to pay for it? Wait, what? How could I get some test in 10 minutes and get the state to pay for it? Depends on what kind of test you're talking about. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, if you're trans, the state will pay for all sorts of stuff. All right, let's keep going here. I still have tons of crap to get through. So let's go over to Libs of TikTok. And this is just another example of a father at a school board meeting screaming to the high heavens, this is what's in our child's library. And he reads just one little part from the book, but this is why it's so insidious, because this stuff is being jammed down kids' throats. And it's Marxist at its core. I'm telling you, all this stuff is Marxist at its core. It's instead of having the bourgeois being landowners and all that, it's the bourgeois are now people of certain white male Christian heterosexual people are at the bottom of the victimhood hierarchy. They are the oppressors, right? And then the more trans, the more black, the more Latino, the darker your skin. So like black people seem to be higher on the victimhood hierarchy than Latino people because their skin's a little less brown. It's insane. They have quite literally created like a victimhood hierarchy where it's if you're trans, if you are black, if you are a woman, well, you see that's where it all becomes confusing too, because you get this whole intersectionality thing. It's even the whole victimhood hierarchy starts to eat itself because it's like, wait, no, I'm more of a victim. No, I'm more of a victim. And that's kind of what happened with. Yeah, sorry. Oh, I get way off in the weeds. Listen to this father talk. These are the books that they're putting in our kids' schools. Your kids' schools. I don't have kids because I can't find a woman to put up with me, and women are psycho around here.
103. You ever fuck you? I say shoot. Oh yeah, I say, but not like the faggots in my ass and all. So I know. Carl fucks me. That's her dad, by the way. This is a 12-year-old girl. This is a 12-year-old girl getting molested by her father. And this is what we're putting in our books in school.
Like, what is really happening here? What is really going on? What is this agenda? This is trying to normalize pedophilia and incest. Now, what the hell is going on?
And I know tonight you guys got notified by the Penal Code 43.
I also don't think there's any fixing this. I think schools are infected at this point. It's just, if you can, pull your kids out of school. Like, they're better off just staying at home with you, or I don't know. And California has gone after homeschooling and charter schools, and they're making it impossible to pull your kids out of school without being a freaking criminal. It's insane what California has done. And what's funny is there's still a law on the books in California that is illegal to teach communism in school. It's illegal in California to teach communism. And that's exactly what they're doing. This is Marxist at its core. And all of this should, like, and it's criminal too. So in theory, a class action lawsuit could be created against the state of California for teaching communism, because that's exactly what they're doing in this school. They're teaching communism and pedophilia and incest. It's all tied together. This shit is insane.
Let me go on. He says he puts his balls in my face, and then her mother comes into the scene and says she fingers me, picking apart my pussy. This is in our high school. This is in for our children to have access to.
This is normalizing parental pedophilia, incest, sexual assaults on children. That's what this is normalizing here.
Now, I don't want to read all of it because I think I've done enough. But what I'll tell you is, ass is mentioned 31 times, bitch is mentioned 47 times, cracker is mentioned 11 times, cunt is mentioned 3 times, dick is mentioned 9 times, faggot is mentioned 5 times, fuck is mentioned 83 times, nigger is mentioned 22 times, piss is mentioned twice, pussy 18 times, puta mentioned 4 times, and shit 79 times. That's 314 times it violates the penal code, which means charges can be pressed. Now, all of you guys.
All right. Like, this isn't even, they're so far past crossing the line. This is criminal at this point. So just with those words mentioning in the book, all of that, apparently they could press charges, criminal charges. If this were California, which it obviously wasn't, there could be criminal charges pressed against California schools that are teaching Marxism. You'd have to prove that this stuff is communist. You'd have to prove that this is Marxist at its core, which I think could be fairly easily done with somebody way smarter than me.
Have a duty. I know that. And I know you're probably unaware of this. But what I do want to let you know is that the community is awake. We understand what's going on. It's not our job to go out and research this stuff. It is your job to protect our kids. That's why you get elected. That's why you guys are holding the positions that you do. Now, what I'll tell you is, if you're a man or woman of faith, what I'll tell you is, in Revelation chapter 21, verse 8 tells us there's a list of people that will burn in the lake of fire. And the one that leads that pack is the cowards. And James 4:17 states that if we know what is right to do and don't do it, it is sin.
You hear that, people? We can't not talk about this. You can't worry about cancel culture. You can't worry if you're going to get fired. You can't worry if you're going to get thrown in jail. This, I truly believe that we are living in historic, if not biblical times. What's happening right now? All around us. This is everything that's happening right now is it does seem like it's out of the book of Revelations. A lot of this, especially can't tell the man from the woman, it's freaking madness what's happening right now. And if you're sitting by not speaking out, and I'm not saying you have to go out and protest, but every time you're confronted with something like this and you just don't say anything, you're part of the problem. Every time, like if somebody says in passing to you, yeah, my kid's trans, and it's a nice person, they're nice to you, you haven't had any conflict with them, they don't know that you're a Christian or whatever, they just think that they're safe to say that kind of thing. No, you got to call them out. Yeah, your kid's not trans. You're either pushing this on your kid, or you've been manipulated by a cult-like group. And I'm not going to allow you to just say that stuff in my presence and not say anything, because what you're doing is tantamount to child abuse. It is child abuse. Everybody needs to be speaking up against this stuff. Everyone. And it's why like a lot of people don't like me around here, because every single opportunity that I have, I say some shit. And I don't go out of my way to say some shit. It's just there's so much wokeness around here. I can't go to the damn store without not confronting, but seeing 5 people walking around with N95s on. Or even worse, there's still people walking around with the cloth masks on. There's a lady at the grocery store right now that has a cloth mask on, like the one that's made out of like t-shirt material, and it's down below her nose. It's like, okay, what's really going on here? You even if it was above your nose, it wouldn't be protecting you. But now it's down below your nose. You don't have to be wearing it. There's no mandates anymore anywhere. Is this like a face whoopee? Does it make you feel more comfortable? Is it some sort of fashion thing that you're doing now? What is really going on? And it's maddening. It's everywhere I go. Somebody in a mask. I see somebody flying a trans flag. You guys saw the thing with the Felton Library a few weeks ago. They were flying the trans flag right below the American flag, and there's no California flag on the pole. So I took a picture of it, put it on the internet, and put them on blast. Tagged Santa Cruz County in it. It's like, hey, is this appropriate? I guess a lot of people contacted the county, and that flag's not up there anymore. Well, they also have like gay pride stuff and trans flag stuff all over their window. I haven't gone in there yet, but I'm going to be going in there and getting a library card and going over to the kids section and seeing what books they have in there, because I guarantee you there's some nefarious shit going on in there too. This stuff is all around us. And sorry, I'm just getting off in the weeds. Just going off on a tangent here. Okay, 10 more seconds of this.
I hope you don't sin and start getting this junk out of our schools. It doesn't belong. And we're relying on you to do the right things. God bless you.
That man is a leader. That is a good man right there. I like him. All right, let's keep going here. Barbara Lee, it's criminal, damn straight. Eric Clopel, it used to be funny. Yeah, it's not. I don't know if you're talking about the mask thing or the trans thing, but it's not funny anymore. And it's not, and that's what makes it so hard for people to recognize as evil, as nefarious. When I see the trans flag, I see the hammer and sickle. And people see this cutesy woke rainbow things and they're just like, oh, it's so innocent. No, all this stuff that we're seeing is going to lead to mass death. That's what it's going to lead to. It's going to lead to starvation, famine, supply chain problems, people not being able to produce, people committing suicide because they went and chopped their dick off when they were 9. This stuff is freaking insane. And it's, sorry, I'll keep going. Robert Lee, madness, freaking damn straight. Eric, the American Librarian Association approved that book. What book? What book are you talking about? Northside, testosterone. There has to be. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, if I went to the doctor and was like, yeah, I think I might have low testosterone. I'd like to get some testosterone. You know how hard it would be for me to get? Where if you're a child, if you're a female, a young girl, and you say, yeah, I'm trans, they're just going to give you testosterone right off the bat. I'm a male that's 40 years old that I hope I don't need testosterone right now. I haven't gotten my testosterone checked, but I don't think I need it. But my buddy, I won't say his name. My buddy who is a badass, who's an absolute badass, he had low testosterone. And he was telling me about the hoops he had to jump through to get TRT, to get testosterone replacement therapy. And it's insane. It's insane that men of a certain age that can greatly benefit from testosterone have to jump through a million hoops to freaking get it. And you could be a 7 or 8 year old girl and say you're trans because you'd learned about it on social media and go to a doctor without parents and they will give you testosterone. Like California is doing this. They're doing it in Canada. California is insane with this freaking madness. Northside, there has to be a ton of hippie chicks in Santa Cruz that didn't take the vax. You'd think so. You'd think so, man. I mean, I'm sure there's some, but like it's also just dating's exhausting. I'm 40 years old now. I got shit that I'm doing, and yeah, just dating's exhausting, man. I don't even before COVID, I was a bit of a man whore. I'll just say before COVID, I was a bit of a man whore. And yeah, the last 4 years changed me, man. Like really just, yeah, I haven't really dated that much at all since my dad died. And yeah, since my dad died, I haven't really dated anybody. I haven't wanted to at all. We'll keep going. All right. Stop with this one. It's freaking insane. Shit triggers me. All right, let's go to Michael Schellenberger because I just listened to a 1 hour podcast with him. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of Michael Schellenberger. He wrote the book San Francisco, which is about all the insane stuff San Francisco is doing with their homeless industrial complex and non-governmental organizations being paid to essentially launder money and line their own pockets to perpetuate the homeless problem and actually make the homeless problem worse. He's done tons of great work on that. He's done tons of great work on the offshore wind project. He was one of the guys that Elon Musk released the Twitter files information to. And now he's doing a lot of good work on all this trans ideology crap. So he says here, there's a 1 minute video of him. I'll play the video before I read his quote because last time I read his quote, he ended up just saying exactly what I read. So let's watch this video here. This is Michael Schellenberger. And he is a great man. Also, this is not a Republican. This is not a Trump guy. I'm not sure, but I think he might be gay. If you're not, Michael, I apologize. But this is a dude that he's a Californian. He grew. I don't know if he grew up here. I'm pretty sure he did. But this is a guy that would have considered himself a liberal. And yeah, we'll keep going. Michael Schellenberger.
Last year, the mother of a transgender reality TV star, Jazz Jennings, triggered a controversy after she described waking Jazz up in the middle of the night to address medical complications from genital surgery.
I have woken Jazz out of a dead sleep and taken the dilator and put the lubrication on it and said, here, you take this and you put it in your vagina. If not, I will. But Jazz...
Okay. Have you guys seen this? You guys familiar with the Jazz Jennings thing? I did a whole episode on this about, probably almost a year ago now. And what she's talking about there is how she chopped off her male child's chopped off the genitalia. Chiva, go lay down. Sorry, I got my old dog. Have you guys met Chiva? She's my old German Shepherd. Anyway, she's itchy. Chopped off the child's genitalia, and now they created a fake vagina, which will close up because it's a wound. It's not a vagina. It's a freaking wound. And she's saying how she woke up her child and have a dilator, which is just a device that you stick in the wound to keep it from closing. It's mutilating children. There's no other way to put it. It's mutilating children, sterilizing children. This child will never have an orgasm. This child will never have a child. Anyway, we'll keep going.
This is bad. Even when I'm home once a day. I will be so mad if she goes away to college and that thing seals up. I will wring her neck.
What? This is what I'm talking about. This mother, I can't diagnose this mother, but this is like Munchausen by proxy. This is, I don't know if this is narcissism or some actual psychopathy. I don't know what this is, but this mother is insane, and she mutilated her child and brainwashed her child into thinking her son is a girl and mutilated her son.
I was shocked by the clip, but then didn't think much about it afterwards. In truth, I didn't want to think much about it afterwards. But then someone gave me the internal discussion files from an organization called WPATH, which is the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. We released those files, all 170 pages, yesterday. What they show is the widespread medical mistreatment of children, adolescents, and vulnerable adults. They show that WPATH members and gender medicine practitioners aren't getting informed consent from their patients. That appears to have been the case with Jazz Jennings, who was not old enough to understand the implications not only of becoming sterile, but also of never being able to have an orgasm. As such, trans isn't what many of us thought it was. It's not.
Okay. I think he has subscriptions on Twitter, and he's monetized, and he only plays part of the clip, but you guys get the point. Freaking madness. Absolute madness. All right. So I want to go now to, I'm going to play a couple of minutes of this episode from Trigonometry, where this is a mother. This is what I call a detransitioning mother who bought into all this woke ideology, the trans cult, and realized, holy crap, I've been manipulated, I've been lied to, and I've been tricked into thinking my child is trans, and I need to get off this. I need to detransition my son, which all they did is socially transition. All they did is start calling the son a girl and all of that, which, I mean, that's psychological trauma right there. But she didn't do any surgery. She didn't do any puberty blockers, any of that, fortunately. But I think she says she started, I think her aha moment was when she had her other son. So her oldest son is also on the autistic spectrum. So this is another part of it. A lot of kids that are on the autistic spectrum are more prone to buying into this stuff, are more prone to being duped into like, oh yeah, I'm really a girl. And so that's the older child. And then she had her second son, and her second son was like, I'm not trans, but I want to be like my bigger brother, so I want to wear dresses and stuff too. And that's when she started trying, like, kind of questioning all this stuff. And when she started questioning this stuff, she was attacked. And they did the whole thing like, well, do you want your kid to commit suicide? And this is from a psychologist that's like, talk to the kid for like an hour. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is, so this sort of changed my whole attitude on how I should be talking to, well, I don't know. I don't meet personally. I've never even had a conversation with any of these mothers. Just that one incident where I was coaching and they told me that I might have a they them on my team. And if I do have to have this conversation with a mother, I'm probably going to approach it a little bit differently now, because I used to think that like, yeah, the stuff's being pushed on kids, and parents that are doing this, they have to be twisted in the head. They have to be Munchausen by proxy type thing, cluster B disorder, some sort of psychological order. But this episode of trigonometry made me realize, like, you know what? No, some of these people, they have been indoctrinated into this cult. They're surrounded by super woke people, and they have a child, and for whatever reason, somebody implants that seed in their head, like, hey, your child's trans. And they're like, what? And they start saying all this gobbledygook to them, and they sort of buy into it, and they're tricked into it. But they have this uneasy feeling the whole time, like, is this really right? But, you know, because everybody tells me if I don't affirm my child's gender, that I'm the bad person. And they sort of just go with the program. And it made me realize that, yeah, some of these mothers are duped into this. Some of these mothers are pressured into this, and that's why I call them detransitioning mothers. So I want to play just like the opening clip from this. So this is trigonometry. This is from YouTube, and the episode, you guys should watch this whole episode. This thing is so illuminating. It's called, the podcast itself is called Triggernometry, TRIGGERNOMETRY, and it's Konstantin Kisin, and I can't remember who his guest host is, but Konstantin Kisin is fantastic. This guy's like borderline genius. He's incredibly intelligent, and he's very balanced. But this episode's from about a year ago, and it's just, the title of the episode is "I transitioned my child and I regret it," in quotes. I transitioned my child - I regret it. If you go to YouTube and search that, watch the whole episode. It's about an hour long. Let's watch just the first couple of minutes from it. This stuff is heartbreaking, and you could tell this isn't a dumb woman. This isn't a dumb. She doesn't even seem super woke. You know, she's not like raising the fist and going to protests and stuff like this. She just did what she thought was right. She's she's just a mother that's trying to do what's best for her kid, and she was just wrong. She was just flat out wrong. And fortunately, she figured it out in time. Oh, geez. I'm an idiot. I did it again, didn't I? All right, I got to play the whole thing over again. I was just staring at the... I'm sorry, guys. I do this at least once an episode. Okay, I just did a whole 90 seconds. I got to play this over again. I'm sorry, guys.
And so after a period of years, we came to this: neither of our sons is innately transgender. I want to say this clearly. When we came to that decision, I still didn't see it as a belief system. I was still in it. But I had come painstakingly, both of us had, to the conclusion that that our sons weren't actually trans, that it was something else for both of them, and we were clear in that. This belief system, the heart of it, says that children should lead. And it's contradictory, because once children say they are the opposite sex, then adults lead them to gender affirmation, okay? To concretizing that cross-sex identity and medicalizing it. But what I realized in those 2+ years of anguish was that I had led my child into it. And therefore, I must lead him out of it. It is my responsibility. And like a second later, I'm on my phone, I'm texting a friend, I'm like, we've realized that our older son is not actually transgender. We're going to be rolling back the social transition. And I feel like I am leaving a cult. Because that's what it felt like to me. He said to me, Mama, this is your fault. You changed my name. So imagine had we not realized our mistake, and you go 10, 20 years into the future. Imagine that, Mama, this was your fault then.
And imagine you put your child through genital mutilation. You put your child through puberty blockers, and they become an adult or an older teen, and they come to you and they say, what did you do? Like, say it's a boy, a biological boy, and the parents transition the child, do the puberty blocker thing, socially transition, and then they allow the child to do what Jazz Jennings did and chop off the genitals. And then 15, 16, 17 years old, the child realizes, I'm not a girl. I'm a boy, but I'm not anymore. I've chopped off my genitalia. I've castrated myself. So then all of a sudden, this child's having this psychological crisis, and they are going to look for someone to blame, and that person's going to be the parents. If you're the parent, you're either going to accept what your child's saying and have this, oh my God, what have I done moment, or you're going to take the super narcissistic approach and say, no, you're wrong. You are a girl, and I was right. I didn't do anything wrong. And I imagine that in that specific scenario, there's going to be suicides. There's going to be, I imagine we're going to see a lot of horrific shit coming in the future. What we're doing to children right now is criminal. It's psychotic. What the medical community is doing, what the pharmaceutical company is doing is psychotic. What they're doing in schools to teach this stuff, to trick kids, confuse, and it's kids that are at their most confused time. Boys and girls that are going through puberty, their hormones are all going, especially boys. Their hormones are just off the wall. Like, you're so wacky. A 14-year-old boy is like clinically insane. They already have a high level of narcissism, and they're so impressionable. You can convince a 14-year-old boy anything. It's their mind is completely malleable. They have all of their hormones going completely bonkers. They're trying to No kid when they're going through puberty feels normal, feels comfortable. A very awkward thing is happening to you. And that's the precise time that these predators are preying on these kids. This stuff is so freaking triggering to me. And this might be another reason why I don't date too, or why I'm like scared to date, scared to have a kid, scared to have a divorce. It's almost like it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk of, I mean, there's so many horrible things that can happen. And yeah, it's almost not worth the risk. It's awful because I don't want my lineage to die with me. I think I would be a great father. Yeah, but it's almost too freaking risky. Anyway, I don't know what to do here. Yeah, freaking psychotic, man. Terry Wallace, yes, I wanted to hear it. I'm looking Jazz up now. So that's not Jazz Jennings' mom, but that's the Matty Bracco, but it's all reversible. Yeah, even it's so even if all you do is socially transition, even that's a ton of work to be reversible. That's psychological damage that's going to have to be repaired. And then if you don't even do the genital mutilation crap, and you and you decide to do the puberty blockers thing, that's not reversible. That's causing some serious damage. And then obviously with the mastectomies and the whatever you call it, I just call it castration. It's if you decide to go through with that, I mean, how could someone forgive their parents for that? It's freaking insane. Blair White does an interview with a detransitioner that went through that, like cut off the genitalia. Like even Blair White still has her parts. And I'll call Blair White a her because like that's the thing too, is I don't have anything against trans people. Like you do your thing. Like it's, hey, you want, and Blair White also passes as a female. Like if I met Blair White, didn't know anything about her, I'd be like, yeah, that's a chick. Holy crap, that's a dude, and there's, in Thailand, they got lady boys. They still got their parts. Like all of this stuff where they're like, yeah, you're a man, but you can become a woman. There's nothing you can do. It's every part of you, down to your freaking DNA, your hips. You don't have a uterus. It's freaking maddening that they're trying to convince people, yeah, you can just become a woman. And women too. It's biological women that want to transition to being a man. Look, I'm an athlete, I'm a trail runner, but I'm not like I was never a super high level athlete. I mean, except for when I was in Little League because I was a giant. And I do martial arts, but I've competed at a tiny level. I've never fought anybody that was really, really good. Yeah, I'm nothing special at all. I don't even do it to compete. I'm 6'6", 230 pounds, and I have a martial arts background. If I went and trained for 6 months, I don't know. There might be a small handful of women on earth that would be able to beat me in a fight. That it's just men can't become women. Women can't become men. You just can't do it. And then there's the whole feelings thing. Like women are just more prone to crying and having feepies, all that stuff. It's just, it's funny. There's a song, I believe it's called I Could Never Be a Woman. I can never be a woman. Do you guys remember that song from like the 90s? It's a great song. And I think that song is actually about a gay guy who is in love with another dude, but the dude's straight, and the person singing "You'll Never Love Me Because I Can Never Be a Woman." I think that's what the song's about, and it's just funny because that's the name of the song, and they even talk about there's even a line in that song where he says, "Enough with all your highbrow Marxist ways." It's such a great song. You guys should listen to that. Just search the song "I Can Never Be a Woman." It's a great song. I love that song. But yeah, Eric, can't speak for you, but I'm glad we had our kids. As terrifying as it was. Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, things are a little different now, you know, like just having kids Trump's when all this stuff started, not because of Trump, but the reaction to Trump, like all this stuff started going really wacky when Obama came into office. But when Trump came into office, like that's when everybody lost their freaking minds. So there's 4 years where everybody lost their minds. And then there was 4 years after that with COVID and all this stuff. And now it's just people are freaking clinical. Like it's just I'm glad I didn't have kids back 10 years ago when I was freaking 30 years old because I was an idiot. I mean, I'm still kind of an idiot, but yeah, I'm glad I didn't. I wasn't in the financial position to do it. I wasn't mature enough to do it. Just, yeah. Anyway, Terry Wallace. Yes, I wanted to hear it. I'm looking up jazz now. Yeah. Watch the Jazz Jennings stuff. Listen to that interview. That trigonometry interview. Just look it up. It says the title of it again was what was it? I transitioned my kid and I regret it, I believe. Yeah. I transitioned my child. I regret it. Just search it on YouTube. Trigonometry. I transitioned my child. I regret it. It'll pop right up. Okay. All right. You know what? I was going to get into a bunch of other stuff tonight, but I did not expect to talk about this I thought I was going to be less than an hour that I'd be talking about this stuff. It just gets me so triggered and I go off on tangents. Every era has its oh crap. I want my kids to grow up in the swamp. Yeah, well, I know somebody that says like, I don't know, like I almost regret having kids because of how insane the world's going to be when they're adults. And yeah, he doesn't though. He does not regret having kids. He's a great dad. All right. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to talk about tonight, you guys. Let's do a little bit of a shorter episode tonight. That is all I'm going to get into. I'm Fridays and Saturdays are going to be the nights that I stream for sure. I might be doing other streams too, but those will be like surprise streams. I'll just be announcing them day of. But the streams, the live episodes that I will be consistent on, that you guys can count on, will be Fridays and Saturdays now. So I might be changing the time. I might be pushing it back half an hour, maybe even an hour and a half. I might be pushing it back to 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time to give me more time to get the show prepped for, because I'll be working and stuff. So, yep, that is it. I think that is all I got for this evening, you guys. So, Northside, Terry Wallace, Eric, Maddie, Barbara, let's see, Wally World, Elaine. What else we got? J-Bo. I don't know if you're still here. Thanks for hopping on, J-Bo. Michelle Letter, Radio Foreman, all you guys. Thanks for being here. This was a bit of a triggering episode. I apologize that I get all worked up, but geez, this stuff just triggers me. All right, that is all I got for tonight. That's all I got for this evening, folks. I might do a show tomorrow night just because, but I'm not positive. I might, though. All right, that is all I got for the evening. But before we get out of here, you know how we do it. Got to tell a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. What do we have tonight, folks? Okay. All right, this is a perfect one. I like this joke. All right, you guys. Maybe I will see you tomorrow. If not, I will certainly see you next Friday. We'll have a lot to talk about. I'll probably do a show in between now and then anyway. All right, here we go. Chuck Norris joke of the evening. Guns don't kill people. Chuck Norris does. And on that note, stay CaliBased.